The FluentCart team has done it again. For every Divi user who uses FluentCart, today is a day worth celebrating. And I'm super excited because now we can design natively with modules from FluentCart. Let me just show you what we can actually do. So this is a page where I just took the FluentCart modules and created my own layout. So here I have a product. I can go in here and add our Divi modules that support this product, and everything here works. We can even add all these countdown timers. I mean, this is super amazing. Now let me show you what I was able to do. Over here we have a checkout page. Now let's say you had a checkout page and you wanted to add some testimonials. I mean, look at this. Isn't that amazing? So we can add as many as we want here. And this is a unique layout that now we can do in FluentCart. Before, all we had was just the checkout page and we didn't have much flexibility in terms of going in and adding what we want. But now it is amazing. So here we have this layout here. This is the dashboard. So if you want to showcase your licenses, you'd go over here, you go over here. But if you want to add some images, you can add your images like that. All of a sudden, now our online shop has become alive. And I'm super excited to show you this. So here I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to go in and add a single column. Now I have to decide now what I need to add into this column. So the quickest way to find all these FluentCart modules is by typing FC. So all these are the FluentCart modules, and this is crazy, guys. All right, so let me show you how to use these modules from FluentCart. So I'm going to start off by adding a column. In fact, we're going to add 2 columns, and we're just going to increase the size of these columns here so we have a lot of space to work with. All right, so when you click here to add a module, all you have to do is to type FC, and this brings up all these FluentCart modules. So there's a lot to choose from here, and it's just going to depend on what you really want to design. So for example, let's say you want to go in and add a product card. You can go in and select it like that. And then over here, you can choose a single product. So let's say I come over here. I can then go ahead and say select product, and I can choose the product I want to add in there. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one here and add product. So now I have my product. Changes that I can do to this. I can add a sale badge if there's a sale badge, and I can also adjust the column. Okay, so you can go in and add a specific number, but if you want, you can just set it to full width, and then the whole thing actually shows. Now, I pretty much like using the full width and then use the columns to customize how this looks. But of course, if you want to go in and add a custom width, it's pretty much up to you. So let's go ahead and add 600 over here, hit enter, and okay, this is a much better size. If you want to add native Divi modules, this is where you can go in here and add anything that you want to add. So let's say you want to add an accordion. You can just go ahead and add it like that. We're going to go in and choose our presets, give it a bit of a style. And now I have something interesting going on. So as you can see, it is very, very easy to add any other content that you want to support this content over here on the left. Now, if you see that, okay, the way these columns are structured, it may not be the way you want, you can always go in and change them over here like that. And if you want to add a heading, you can just right click and then say add element above. Now, at any point, if you want to go in and remove this, you can always go ahead and delete it and then add something else. And then over here, you can choose a product carousel, for example. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And with that selected, let me just save this for now. And then over here, you can choose how the slider view. So if you want to show 3 items, you can choose 3 items here. If it's going to be 1, it's pretty much up to you. Okay. We also have the behavior here. Over here, you can select the products. So you can type them here and search them, and you can go ahead and pretty much select the products like that. So once the products are selected, these are the products that are going to show on the carousel. So I'm going to say add products. And now I've added them. But the cool thing here is they have an animation as well, but you can actually go in and further customize this. So you can add an autoplay on this. So you can disable it or you can add it on hover. It's pretty much up to you. I'm going to leave it as it is. And then over here, we also have the autoplay delay. So again, you can adjust that. You can add your arrows if you want to. We also have pagination here. We can add some bullets. We also have an infinite loop if you want to add an infinite loop. Okay, so I'm going to remove that, and we can also add some badges. But what I like about this is I can go in and customize this design and make it look the way I want. So let's say I go back here, and let's say I want to adjust the content here. I can go in and change the structure. So now I'm going to have a single column and then delete this one here. So now I have a huge carousel like that. And if I really want this to stand out, I can go in and then I'm going to go to background, and then I'm just going to say inverse. Okay, now do you see how it really stands out? Now, if I really want this to match the rounded corners, I can always go in and add them. Now, if I want to add some padding on the left and the right, I can also go ahead and do that as well. So with this now, we can add more elements. And first of all, let's go ahead and add our hero area here. And you can see that everything is responsive. You don't have to worry about everything, breaking apart. Everything is super responsive, and it just looks great on all devices. So we have now the ability to go in and customize all our designs the way we want. So perhaps maybe you want to add a nice hero image on this. We can go ahead and do that. So after playing around with the design, this is what I came up with. And as you can see, it's all custom. And if I come all the way down here and I click on add to cart, you'll notice that we have this pop-up, which is fantastic because here I can go in and add how many items I want to purchase. And then I can go straight to my checkout by clicking over here. So it is very, very easy to use. And over here now on my dashboard, you can see I can go in and customize anything that I need to customize here. Now, when you go to a particular page, you can click here on Edit with Divi, and this will open up the page builder itself, and you can delete anything in here and start everything from scratch. So let's say you want to add a custom dashboard. You can always go in here. And again, you can do that FC thing, and you can say custom dashboard. And there we go. We have now a custom dashboard. And like I said, you can go in and customize this. You can add a background color. And over here, you can also add, even more information. So let's say you want to add a specific column here. Let's make sure they're the same size. So I'm going to go in and set this to content width. So let's say over here you want to add a video, because this is a custom dashboard, right? So perhaps there's an onboarding video. You can go in and add your video module here. Over here on the right, you can add, some information which may be, very, very important. So let's say you add a small heading here like that, and then you can add some links within that. So let's add our text module. So after playing around with this, you can see I have my main dashboard here on the top, and then on the bottom here, I was able to add a video and some useful information. So this could be, content you want to add onto your dashboard, which is very important, onboarding video, and also a link to useful places. There's something I also need to mention here, and that is there's also a lot of customization when it comes to these modules. So if I select this one, for example, it may seem like there's nothing going on here, but if I click on design, you can see I can change my title color here. I can go and change the, there's so much I can change here. Look at that. So I can go in, change all these subtitle colors, title colors. I can go in and change it here as well. But of course, I don't really want to play around with this because by default, everything looks okay. But the option is there for you to go in and make all these customizations. And you can see here, there's further items you can go in and make changes to. Now, what I like about this as well is you can also use your presets. So as you can see, when I click here, my presets also show, which means I can control this whole design with the presets. Even on the receipt page, I may have to add, say, a thank you video on the receipt page after someone has purchased, and I can go in and customize that. So this now is highly customizable. The sky is the limit now. I'm super excited about this, to be honest. Now, this update also has a lot of hidden features, which means we can add a lot of elements to our theme builder. So I'm going to come over here to our theme builder, and let's say perhaps you want to build a global header, but this header needs to be a bit custom, and you want to add a few elements from FluentCart. So we can go in there, and let's say we want to add a menu first. I'm going to go ahead and add our menu right here. And then after the menu, I want to go in and add, first of all, let's say FC, because sometimes I forget these. So this is a mini cart. Okay, so now this is going to show in our design. So I'm going to go to elements, columns, and then over here, I'm going to set my layout to that, and then I'm going to space it out. So now everywhere I go on my page, this is going to be updated and I can see this mini cart on my headings. So let's say this is the actual design. I'm going to go ahead and add a background to this, and let's just save this. I know it's ugly, but let's pretend that this is our final design. If I now go to my page and visit this in a new tab, you'll notice that we now have this mini cart over here on the top. Now, of course, I can go ahead and fix this, but look at that. Isn't that cool? I can click on that and then I can go and customize this like that. So there's a lot of customizations that we can do with FluentCart, and I'm super excited. And I hope that we're also going to get even more modules, like for example, the star rating. I mean, if we could get that as well, this will just make things easier for us. But I'm super excited by this update. And if you haven't purchased FluentCart, go ahead and do so, because you can also communicate with this through the MCP as well. So you can go ahead and ask your store how your sales are going. You can ask which products are doing well, and so on and so forth. I mean, I have videos I'll be creating in the future. So go ahead and purchase this. The link to that is in the video description below. It's going to be fully supported, and I'll be doing a lot of tutorials on FluentCart. I use it for Divi University, and it's been working flawlessly. Anyway, guys, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.